The rich have abandoned society.
There's a long time ago I talked about this. There was rich people back there were many of them. Again, we're not talking about the hyper rich. We're not talking about that. We're talking about just wealthy Americans, that the so-called millionaire next door. Okay, the proverbial millionaire next door. These guys would do things like invent jobs for people to do because they understood that you didn't want to have a bunch of homelessness and a bunch of indigents everywhere. You didn't want that. That's bad for business. It really, you have to look at San Francisco. That's bad for business to do that. To let a town get that bad, that's really bad for business. So what you did was you invented jobs. You're like, hey, you're going to be the doorman. How many companies need a doorman? The doorman is not a thing. It was, that was very common in a lot of cities where at some business you would have a guy and his job was to open the door for customers. You don't need to be a brain surgeon to do that job, right? I mean, it's pretty simple job, right? But they would invent jobs like that to give people those kinds of jobs specifically so that they actually also felt as though they were part of the community, that they were actually they owned a piece of their existence in this country, and you wanted to have that. And that's actually something that, so in other words, it just comes to the idea of taking responsibility.